All right, we are joined in studio. This is it's an interesting day. It's a big part of the world of tattooing, Brandy, and I know you're a fan of
definitely
tattoos,
especially this particular style.
Yes, we're talking about the American traditional style. We're talking about Sailor Jerry, the guy who kind of started so many things. We got Adam from Graceland in here. Welcome. Thanks for coming in on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank
Absolutely,
you.
man. We are such, just both of us are kind of, well, we shouldn't admit this publicly, but we spend most of the time that we're on air just looking at tattoo forums and things like that.
Well, because Deuce knows I consider it like people's story, and they put it on their body, and whether it is something they remember fondly or maybe not remember so fondly,
right.
It tells their story. First
of all, let's talk about Graceland. Let's get the word out so people don't wonder the whole time, like, what are you talking about? Tell us about the shop.
Well, we're on Main Street in the village of Wappingers. This Valentine's Day will be 13 years.
Congratulations. That's a hefty amount of time, man. That's a long time for any business to stick around.
Feels like forever. No. I'm blessed that we're still going strong, and I have an excellent team of people that I work with, personalities and styles, and we all gel really well together. So I couldn't be happier or more thankful. And
man, you mentioned something just there that I think is part of, if you don't have tattoos or you don't follow too much in the culture of it or the styles of it, you said everybody has different styles and brings something different. I think some people just think a tattoo is a tattoo, like you go in and you just give them something and they draw it on you or whatever. Let's talk about the different styles because, there's such a wide variety. What kind of styles are there for people who might not be familiar with the art in general?
I will say that I think nowadays the styles are almost endless. People are pushing boundaries every day to the point where sometimes it's even blurred. You might look at a photo of something and not even realize it's a tattoo.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's maybe not so good.
Yeah.
I would say at Graceland, we're very much we have a backbone that's connected to kind of traditional tattoos, and that doesn't mean that's all you can get, because it's certainly not. And I don't even necessarily mean when I'm saying traditional, the sailor type tattoo, but even our black and gray approach is very much kind of follows a formula where that tattoo is going to look good, and we anticipate it looking good for the rest of your life. We're trying to follow some key fundamentals to the craft of tattooing where we put that tattoo there, and it's going to treat you well as long as you treat yourself well.
Those solid, bold lines always seem to age really well, because you see sometimes, like if you look at even on, I don't know, what Ink Master, whatever those shows are, and a lot of people do like really interesting and kind of abstract things, and you look at it and you're like, wow, that's like a painting, that's awesome, except sometimes it's not going to look as awesome in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. The traditional thing seems to be just thick, solid lines that are going to last over the course of time.
Yeah, I mean, that's helpful. And I think even if you're not looking for a thick, solid line, just the use of black, which traditional tattooing is really steeped in kind of a solid line, like you're saying. Shading, if you want color, nice solid color, and then the presence of skin in that design. It's kind of like a third black, third color, third skin. You do that, and that tattoo is going to age well. So even if you're someone that says, well, I want a skull and I don't necessarily want a big, thick black outline, we all approach things with a goal to give someone what they want, as long as we understand and respect the fact that we need to have some black in there.
Yeah, right.
So kind of keep that tattoo in place, you're going to get what you're looking for.
And I think that kind of the heart of what you're saying is kind of a respect for the craft of tattooing, more than just like, hey, this is a cool looking thing. It's knowing that to create a tattoo is more than just to draw something or the way that it's kind of more about the medium itself and knowing how to do things within the context of tattooing. And I think that can lead us right into the granddaddy of all that, which is Sailor Jerry, and what he does, which, I mean, the guy's kind of one of the most important figures, right, in tattooing history.
One of them, yeah.
And so what you guys are doing is kind of celebrating what he's brought to the table today, right?
I mean, I think what helped to kind of secure his place, he was, prolific in tattooing so many people, but where he was tattooing in Hawaii at a port, he was tattooing so many sailors that his work spread far.
People were going there, and they were just going back home to all parts of the world with work that he had put together. Right?
Yeah, which is profound. And he really understood and pioneered, well, in some ways, I mean, he was influenced by people like Brooklyn Joe Lieber is one of his huge influences. influences, but he understood and propagated the concept of keeping something simple, keeping it bold and powerful and readable, and that concept that less is more, you know? And sometimes if you over-season it.
Too many flavors
Too many flavors ruins it,
becomes one giant mess of things, right?
In my philosophy, in his philosophy.
And because it's
Doesn't
his
mean right.
birthday, you guys are doing something really cool.
Yeah. So about, I think 5 years now, we started to, on his birthday, we would take whatever he would have been, so he would have been 105 now. So we're doing, decent-sized tattoos, all Sailor Jerry designs, which we have thousands of at Graceland Tattoo. We have this cool template that if you just lay it over, it's kind of a clear sheet, and you lay it over, and if it fits in the circle or the square, you can get it for $105.
It's a really cool idea. And if you're unfamiliar with his work, I mean, Sailor Jerry is one of those guys when you think of tattoos, that's the guy. You don't realize it, but you're thinking about his
work.
Exactly.
Just don't know that his name's associated with it.
Yeah,
right.
Kind of, it's hard to imagine somebody being a bigger figure, and so that's a really cool idea. I love that you guys are looking not only at, hey, we really take pride in what we do, but we also understand that there were people before us that led down the line and show respect for that, which is a really cool thing.
And we want to get people hip to it if they're not.
Yeah.
And give people a chance. You know, you're getting a lot of value on this tattoo. I mean, the tattoo probably, I would say, was like, if you just came in and wanted it not on his birthday, you're probably saving $50 to $70, I would think.
Right.
So you're gonna get a cool tattoo. Maybe someone that didn't know about Sailor Jerry will now know.
Or they think that Sailor Jerry's just the guy that has the rum.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Which is very good rum, actually. We'll
I've had
probably
many,
be drinking some tomorrow.
Yeah, see, what better way? Tattoos and delicious rum. Now, one more thing I got to ask you, because this is, I think, something that some people might be intimidated about. What advice would you give to somebody who's never gotten any tattoos before, has thought about it, isn't sure, kind of on the fence? What do you have to say to people like that? And they're like, it's going to hurt, and I don't know what I want, and things like that.
Well, I mean, it's definitely uncomfortable. Some spots are more intense than others, especially if they're large-scale projects. But you'd be surprised at what you obviously have tattoos, so what the body can endure. I mean, we're not as fragile as we think.
He'll say that he's the biggest wimp in the world.
Yeah, it's like if I can get as much done on my body as I have, then nobody on the planet has any excuse.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. If I can get tattooed, you can get tattooed.
Right,
there's nothing
absolutely.
particularly. You know, I'll tattoo a woman who's maybe getting a tattoo for her children. She's nervous, and I'm like, you have 3 kids. If you can give birth to 3 kids, you can do anything. You know what
seriously,
I mean?
this is nothing. This is child's play compared to that.
I would say just make sure that, you know, whoever's tattooing you, you're getting it done with sterile procedures, and make sure it's a design that's gonna wear well.
Yeah.
You know? And I would also say if it's your first tattoo, maybe just, you know, you should consider where you're putting it. I think, you know, if you're 18 years old and you're getting your first tattoo, maybe don't get your whole forearm tattooed.
Yeah.
See if you like it, you know.
Maybe don't get it across the throat, things like that.
Exactly.
Across the forehead's
just
not a good
ease
place
in,
either.
you know?
Yeah. Dip your toes in the water before you dive in. This is something that you are going to have forever. So to save the to go to the guy that's going to charge you less because he's trying to beat out the other places on price might not be this might not be the thing you want to cheap out entirely on.
That's true. If you do want to save a couple bucks, come to Graceland for Sailor Jerry Day.
That's the way to do it.
And then you save a couple bucks.
You're going to get a good tattoo.
And you get a piece of history, too.
And there you go.
Exactly.
So that's the best way to do it. So thank you so much. How can people find out about the shop and online and things like that?
We have a website, GracelandTattoo.com, Facebook, /Graceland Tattoo, and of course, we're on Instagram, and it's at Graceland Tattoo.
So go check that out. Adam, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it, right?
I am grateful.